This old French provincial dresser is about to get a huge makeover. This is such a beautiful piece, and I actually find myself straying away from a lot of French provincial pieces, but this one has such a nice shape that I don't see very often. So the dresser has these really cool ring pulls that I love, and they help to kind of break up the dresser, so I do want to keep all of this beautiful original hardware. As you can see, we've got a nightstand that is also French provincial, but it's obviously not from the same set, but it is similar enough, so this will work just fine. So first things first, I'm going to start with my electric screwdriver to take all the hardware out. So this little tool is really good, and this makes this part so much quicker. It's rechargeable, but the battery life on this thing is awesome. I can't even remember the last time that I plugged it in. I will link it down below if you are interested in this little guy.
This thing is nasty. For hardware now, I can't use this for water.
Oh.
Yeah, a good tip would be to not use your water bucket for hardware. Okay, so moving on to the next step of prep, and there are many, we're cleaning. You never really know where your pieces have been, especially if you get them off a Facebook Marketplace like I do. So if there's any oils or grease on your piece, that can really mess with the adhesion when you go to lay down your primer. So after you've given her a nice bath, it's time to exfoliate, I guess would be the next part of the analogy. But yeah, we're sanding to A, smooth everything down, and B, create more surface area so that the primer can really grab onto the piece. So right here you can see, like, between every drawer there's this piece of trim that's not flat, it's curved, it's got a divot in the middle. So I'm just gonna use a foam sanding pad to get into all those nooks and crannies. And you'll find that once you scuff sand, a lot of the scratches are a lot easier to see, but holding a light right above it will really highlight any flaws or dents so that you can fill them in. There were still a bunch of dents that were left on the surface, so I'm using some of this powder wood filler over the top and spritzing it with water. So this will get most, if not all, of the imperfections that are still left, and then it'll give you a really smooth top. And this method of wood filler water is a lot easier than pre-mixing it, so if you're lazy like me, give this a try. But to be honest, this product was way too strong for this step because it took a long time to sand down, but it was fun to apply. And look at this dust storm, I totally used way too much. I ran out of my regular wood filler that I usually use for this step, so I wasn't really sure how much filler powder to use. We're finally ready for primer, so I'm using my Kilz spray, and this stuff makes my life so much easier since it's a lot faster and you can get into all kinds of curves with it. I will say though that because it's getting really cold here in Vancouver, the temperature is a lot lower than the optimal spraying temperature, which is 20 to 25. But I can usually get away with spraying a little colder, but it's been like 10 degrees here and it makes the spray come out all chunky and weird, which means I have to spend extra time sanding away the texture. I do feel kind of bad priming over this beautiful wood, but this was a commission piece and my client had wanted it painted. The good thing though is that this piece is solid wood, so if she ever wants to have it restored, she can. And it was getting too dark to keep priming outside, so we moved on to the drawers inside. I'm just going to be rolling on some water-based primer since the drawers don't have any fancy trim and I can get a really nice smooth roll from edge to edge.
Oh god.
Shit. And if you mess up like me and get it on the side, just immediately wipe it off with like a wet rag and it should just come right off. I don't know what language Kendall was speaking, but basically he was scolding me for not waiting to get the shot. So here you go. Here's your shot. And I thought he wasn't getting that edge on purpose to make it unsatisfying, but it turns out he's blind, even though he prides himself on having 2015 vision, which I didn't even know was a thing.
What is your problem?
So you see these yellow areas? That's bleed through, and that's because I used a water-based primer just now. The bare wood from underneath bled through the primer, so to fix that, I'll be going in with the Kilz, which is an oil-based primer to cover it up. And so after that new primer is dry and sanded, we're gonna go in with the color Rodeo Tan, which is a really nice creamy beige to go over the drawers. I didn't want to get the shop dirty with overspray, so I opted to do it by hand. Okay, so it's the next day now, and I'm gonna be getting my new spray shelter set up so I can paint everything else. So this little tent was actually sent to me by this company VEVOR to use on the channel, and I'm so excited to try it out because a lot of the time I'll just be done spraying this perfect coat of paint, but then I'll come back and I'll notice that there's dust or bugs that have landed in my finish. Like, this happens a lot. Basically all of this is to say that the tent will protect my finish while it's drying. So after reading the instructions, I got to work straightening out the poles to thread them through the sides of the tent. I think it's probably doable by yourself, but having a friend or two will definitely help.
Open it up. Open it up. Give us a rundown.
Alright, welcome.
Tent VEVOR.
So when it's all set up, it's actually pretty big. They sent me the 10 by 7 by 6 foot one, so it'll fit most pieces that I do.
Is this where you're gonna stay tonight? Oh.
So we're gonna go in with that same color Rodeo Tan in my spray gun, but I'm first gonna strain it to get all the clumps out and then dilute it. We're gonna do 2 coats of this before we move on to the poly.
No, no, no. This is our stuff.
And I just want to point out that lighting is everything. The warm lighting makes the side look almost mustardy while the front face looks normal.
Oh god, it's gonna get all pretty.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even though the tent was pretty big, it is a 10 by 7, I did still find it kind of hard to get in the tent to paint the sides. But to be fair, this is a 9-drawer dresser, plus I'm a small person, so I can usually make it work. So that is the first coat of paint all done. There is that door that I want to put down to protect it from any bugs or dust, just to keep the finish nice and perfect. And I wasn't really sure on how to close the door without like having the net flop into my piece. I'm sure I'll figure it out soon enough, but that's kind of why I yanked it really hard.
No bugs, no dust.
So as you can see, these two hardware look different, and that is because I hit the high points with a Brillo pad and some Barkeeper's Friend, and that way it'll add a lot more dimension, but still include that original patina, which looks really good. And this one is untouched. I like this one more. I'll show you how I get from this to this, and it's really easy. Barkeeper's Friend, I have the liquid one, and I just like to use the dark green side. And so already right there, it gives it a lot of extra dimension, because you still have that brown patina, but there's that pop of gold that's coming through on the high points. Basically all I do. So that already looks way better than this. And after the second coat of paint has dried, I'm going in with my top coat that I've mixed with just a touch of paint to give it that little bit of extra coverage. I'm not using my tent here because my workspace is still like, you know, like a little bit too tight to fit it comfortably, so I think I have to clear some space. Okay, so here you can really see how the color looks. It's a light tan, almost camel color, and it looks great on its own, but I feel like it could be a really good base color if you ever want to do like a faux wood finish on top of it. That's super popular lately. So here are some before shots of the old nightstand and dresser. The dresser was in pretty good shape, minus some wear and tear on the top and the drawers, but that nightstand was pretty bad. But we were able to turn these mismatched pieces into such a pretty bedroom set. And the light is hitting those curves just right. I just think it looks so good. Okay, now onto the numbers. We bought these pieces both for $200 and we were able to sell them for $1,400, giving us a profit of $1,200. So yeah, I'd love to know what you guys think about this flip. I had a lot of fun with this set, so leave me a comment. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. It really helps out the channel, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time on Holly's Garage.